Here we go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Merge Feast. My name is Blake, back with Logan and Brandon. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
What's up?
Blake, I hear it's your birthday.
It is indeed 35. It's a big one.
35.
I still feel
This is your birthday song. It isn't very long.
Happy birthday, Blake.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you very
birthday.
much.
Happy birthday.
I still feel 27 on the inside, so I'm good. So,
All right.
thank you. Episode 11. Well, the name of the episode, what was it? Coconut
Etiquette.
Coconut etiquette. And it reminded me, I think it was in Fans versus Favorites or Heroes versus Villains with James and the bananas, eating too many bananas and the banana etiquette.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't realize that there was a limited number of coconuts. I mean, they're on an island. Can't you go find some more coconuts?
What if that was the last coconut on the island?
It seems absurd,
You know,
but
I think it's rich for Eva to complain, considering she's been on literally every reward ever. So if anyone's talking about a lack of food, it should not be her.
yep, I agree. No, I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. This episode I felt like was pretty straightforward for me. It seemed like it was Mary the entire time, and there was maybe 5 minutes that I thought somebody's gonna make a move, and it never felt like anything really took hold. And I may be jumping ahead of myself, but I do feel like final 6 is when things are going to get shaken up a little bit. I don't see. I mean, I guess I could see Mitch going home next week and leaving the final 5 being Joe, Shauhin, Eva, and
Kyle and Kamilla.
Kamilla, but if Kyle doesn't make the switch or Shauhin doesn't make the switch next week, they're never going to. And I'm kind of at a weird point in this season because I do really enjoy it, but I'm ready for something to get shaken up. And I know we've got some emails this week to talk about, but I don't know. I'm ready for something to get shaken up, and I do like the majority alliance that is right now. I like those people, but I really like Kyle and Kamilla, and I'm ready to see something get shaken up because at this point, this final 6, I'm good with anybody winning, and so at this point, let's shake it up a little bit. Somebody needs to switch. Somebody needs to flip. I'm just ready for it. And if that doesn't happen, I'm gonna be a little disappointed and maybe a little let down by the season.
So I hate to disappoint you, but spoiler alert, it's not happening.
No?
It's very clear. They've tried to fool us and tease us each week that Kamilla, Kyle, and the rest of the gang are going to do something. They talk about it. They put plans into place. Or Mitch last week just straight up tells Star, I'm not doing that. But they talk about it, and they don't do it. I think it's very clear at this point, Joe and Eva at least are going to be in the final 2. I don't know how that path is going to play out, but I don't know what the hesitation was last week. I really was shocked at the hesitation this week. I felt like this week, if any, made sense. I know that there was some hesitation with Kamilla with Mary and not trusting Mary, but I mean, I could see a Mary win if she makes it all the way to the end, but do you feel like you're going to beat Joe at this point? The only thing that maybe I could see is that the jury's kind of over the whole strong person alliance, and that could gain Kamilla some favor. But I think and it was a little bit harsh, but after Mary got voted out, I was like, this season stinks. Like, and it doesn't. The season's been good. It's been a nice change, but nothing is happening. And we're having, like I said last week, Mitch not wanting to work with Star because he doesn't trust Star. Why do you not trust Star? You need Star. Get over that. This week, Kyle not being able to balance his personal relationship with Joe and his game relationship with Joe. Like, dude, you're playing Survivor for $1 million. It's one person can win it. We can't all win it. Play the game and apologize later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting season, like you said, kind of nothing happening, and in a sense of a different gameplay and a different style, because previous seasons that we've had issues with of things not happening, or it just seems like being stuck, is like the same tribe going to tribal council every week, but kind of different. And I don't feel like we've really seen this for a little while. But yeah, I think it's something needs to happen.
Yeah, there was a moment there, and I kind of wrote down what Kyle said. I think he's in this week in particular, and next week is a pivotal moment for Kyle's game. He's at this quintessential moment, like so spot on. He enjoys everyone he is with, and his quote, I don't want to hurt anyone, even at the expense of my family. And I've got this number one with Kamilla, and I love working with her. She's my number one no matter what. And told her his biggest secret, that he's a lawyer, not a teacher. Like, it seems like he is aligned with Kamilla, like, without question. But he's also not willing to flip on anybody else to prove that to Kamilla. And at some point, I kind of wonder, I don't necessarily wonder, but it surprises me that Kamilla is so much on board with Kyle, knowing like, hey, wait a second, you don't want to flip on anybody else, but yet you say you're aligned with me. And
What's her other option?
That's true. There's not another option for her, but it just surprises me that she hasn't pushed Kyle more on, hey, if you say you're aligned with me and you and I are number one, we have to make this move at some point. And maybe now's not the right time. Fine. Maybe it is final 6. But final 7 is definitely the better time to make the move, because you have the numbers, or you can get the numbers.
I think we're missing context as to why the Joe move didn't happen. I think we'll find out more next episode, because they can't do it next week. I don't think that they can. I think it's over.
I mean, the only way I feel like they do it next week is because Mary clearly talked to Shauhin.
Yeah.
Talked to Shauhin. It didn't seem like he was completely closed to the idea, so it seemed like he had some sort of like, okay, Joe's clearly the front runner, and that thought there. So if Kamilla, Mitch, Shauhin, and Kyle all vote, but then the issue is Eva's got the idol and safety without power. Does she play that on them? Does he win immunity? I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
That was a question I had with the safety without power. I thought that was over after this week.
I think it's over as well. I want to hop into emails real quick, because we're kind of discussing an email that we got, and I want to make sure that we hit that.
Yeah.
So let's do that. So email us at themergefeastpodcast@gmail.com. I've got 2 to go through, so let's get into it. So this is from one of our listeners, Samantha. She says, "Hi guys, love the podcast. My favorite Survivor recap to get me through the workday. I'm really confused on why Star, Mitch, Mary, and Kamilla couldn't get it together and make a move on the Strong Boy Alliance." Just for reference, this is from last week's episode, but we can kind of tie it into this week and into the future episode. So continuing with Samantha, "It's really confusing. Kyle did nothing. He was potentially in a great position to really change the game by getting Joe or Eva out this round. It kind of seems he thought it was too soon, which might have been the case. However, he just lost Star, who could have easily helped accomplish this. I think he lost his chance and just made a clear path for Eva and Joe to be the final two. I have a feeling the rest of this season is going to be low action unless Kyle flips in the open. Kyle should have tried to bring David in with him and Kamilla to take out Eva and flesh out the idol/advantage. David was onto them anyway. I understand why this didn't happen, but imagine the possibilities. Couldn't have said it better. I think kind of flipping that into this week, why didn't Mitch, Kamilla, Kyle, and Mary make the move? I don't know. I don't know the answer to it.
And is that, and I don't know either, but let's speculate for a second. Does that speak to the level of gameplay that Joe and Eva have? That they are just on the social side, not necessarily strategic side, but on the social side, nobody is wanting. I mean, it's not that they don't want to, but they don't feel like they should. Like, are they just so comfortable with Joe and Eva and they feel like, I don't know. I'm confused by the whole thing, but maybe it is the fact that their social side of the gameplay, Joe and Eva, is so good that everybody feels that comfortable with them. Everybody, meaning Kyle and Shauhin, feels so comfortable with him that they don't want to make the move unless they know it's absolutely certain. But that doesn't necessarily put them in a better position than what they're at now. Like Shauhin, for instance, he's really top 3. Joe, Eva, and Shauhin. So if Shauhin makes a switch, he loses Joe in the vote, more than likely, and loses Eva, loses trust with Eva, and now he's at top 4. He's not necessarily in the top 3.
Yeah.
So as a viewer, I want to see some moves being made, and it makes sense that they would do it, and I get why he wouldn't, but and same with Kyle. He's kind of in the same position. He's going to be top 4 no matter what.
Yeah, but then I think you have to bet on yourself. You have to bet on yourself at that point that I can win immunity, I can win fire, and then I can convince a jury that I should win the $1 million. I think that's what's not happening. I think Joe, specifically more so than Eva, has everybody wrapped around his finger. Joe obviously is kind of the go-to guy around camp. Eva, obviously, everybody loves as well. I don't necessarily think she's playing as great as a social game, at least outside of her alliance. Mm-hmm. I think within, everybody clearly loves her. You said that earlier, but I think you should have to bet on yourself. And I don't know if anybody's willing to do that or confident enough to do that.
And on the other side of that, of like why it's not being done, it almost seemed like this week, Mary obviously still being there, that was a big issue, and like we don't trust Mary, so like we need to get her out, because if she's here longer, that being an issue. And then I do think, like we said earlier, if Mary makes it to the end, she would have potential to win because of making it to the end and just the games that she's had. So I think getting Mary out was almost the pause of like, hey, we've got to get her out. We don't trust her. Let's try it maybe next week. But I think at this point it's just too late.
But here's kind of my thing is, and maybe I'm wrong on where the jury would stand on Eva. I think Joe would have a pretty easy time winning. And I think Eva could as well, but I think if you have to take a shot at Joe, I think your very next shot has to be Eva as well. I think you have to get them both out. Obviously, getting one weakens the other, but I think they both have to go. I don't think you can have either of them sitting at the end with you. So that's what's tough. You're running out of votes. You're running out of time. So it'll be to a point where you're going to have to place one of them in fire at least.
That's the confusing part to me. Is every other season that I can ever remember, as soon as you are out in the open with an alliance with somebody and everybody sees it, hey, you are tight-knit with this person, we have got to break up that alliance. We've got to break up those tight two. And they've talked about it a lot, but nobody has even thrown a vote Joe's way. I mean, Mary did, and Mary said she was going to, but it was in desperation, and nobody else jumped on board, knowing that, hey, we have at least one. I don't know what to think, but I hope that for future seasons, Survivor might. I'm hopeful that they'll give us maybe some after interviews a little bit more, and I know we get some like interviews after people have been voted out with certain podcasts, but it would be nice to see a little more insight as to why things aren't happening. And maybe that's just the way production is happening, but it might be nice to have like a little more insight to the jury on what they're thinking, or I don't know, something to give a little more insight as to why things aren't happening the way I think that they should be happening. And there may be really good reasons there. I don't quite see them yet. I'm at this moment in the game, I'm completely perplexed. And I don't hate it because I like the people that are left in the game. I really, really like where the game is at as far as who is left in the game. I'm just very surprised that nobody else has been willing to make any moves.
And I definitely agree with you there. And I think thinking about the way the season started, people talking about just building alliances and stuff like that, maybe that might be a testament to Joe and Eva's social game of they got a large group around that was, hey, let's be loyal, let's be honest, and play that type of game, and a large enough of a group around them that the rest of the people there just didn't have enough alliance to do that. So could be a social side of things of like speaking to that, but
yeah. And they took care of business pre-merge as well, right? To be able to be in a position to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm not even mad at Joe and Eva, Shauhin and Kyle, because I mean, if I was in their position, I would be doing the same thing. If I could keep an alliance together and get to the end with the people that I started the game with, I would absolutely do it. I'm more
100%.
annoyed at the people that aren't making the moves to break it up when you have the opportunities, like last week and this week. Like, it's just basic math, and it's like, why did you come on the show if you're not going to take the shots when you have them?
Right.
Like, I just, like, and I don't want to keep piling on Mitch, but it makes no sense to tell Star, no, I don't want to work with you. I'm good. Play your shot in the dark. No, that's not happening. Like, it makes no sense. Like, I know you think you're in with Kyle and whoever, but read the room.
Yeah. And to speak on Mitch a little bit, I mean, he didn't do anything this week. Like, was barely on camera at all. Mm-hmm. And we've talked a lot about peaking at the right time over the last several seasons and last several weeks, but even the past several seasons, peaking at the right time in the game is incredibly important. And nobody seems to be standing out and peaking at this moment in the game where it is completely pivotal. Like, Mitch is not, he didn't do anything this week. And without him making a move or doing something, I mean, Mitch is gone, right?
What's pivotable?
Pivotable.
pivot.
But like, this is the wrong time to lay low, right? I mean, Final 7, that is a crucial point in the game. And it just gets more crucial from here on out, but he did not seem to put himself in a better position than when he started this episode. And I don't know. We've talked a lot about there doesn't really seem to be a GOAT that's getting drugged to the end this season. Mm-mm. But Mitch is looking more and more like that GOAT. Mm-hmm. That, hey, we're going to... And nobody's talked about it, but the fact that he was barely on camera at all, like he didn't have anything hardly this week, I don't know. It screams I'm just going to lay low and try to make it as far as I can, knowing that I can't win.
Yeah. And maybe it is just acceptance, but I was thinking about this when I was actually I was watching a Mitch confessional tonight, and I was like thinking of Survivor 50 and who's going to be on that, and just returnee seasons in general. And I was like, I like Mitch a lot, but I'm like, he's a one and done guy. Like there's no reason for me to want to see him on a new season. Like, and I know that players shouldn't play with the intention of getting to play again, but I'm like, play a game where we can remember you.
Yeah.
And be like, man, he didn't win, but he played a heck of a game. Like, there's so many players that have done that, where like you think of Colby, you think of Russell, Amanda, Suri,
Genevieve last season. Yeah.
You're like, I will remember your gameplay for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't win.
100%.
I've got thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, thank you, Samantha, for
Thank you,
sending that
Samantha.
in. I
Yes.
appreciate you listening, and let us know what you think after this week. I'm curious to see your thoughts, and I assume it's going to be a lot of the same thoughts as what you emailed in, but I would be curious to know, Samantha, who you think of these final 6, who you think would be final 4 or final 3. And at this point, I've got to say it's going to be Joe, Eva, and Shauhin, but I kind of hope not. I kind of hope it's one of Joe or Eva, and maybe Kyle and Kamilla. I don't know. I'd be curious to see where you're at. So if you get the chance to email us again, I would love to hear your thoughts on who you think will be final 4 and final 3.
Yeah, thank you, Samantha, for the email and for the kind words. Next is actually an email from my sister Lauren. Season finale idea. She says, "We love your podcast. It has become something we all look forward to each week. Daniel had a cool idea for the season finale. He said you should do a live podcast watching the season finale. I think that'd be cool. I don't know the logistics of that or how we would do that. Because I know, it would just have to be a camera on us reacting to the season, right?
Yeah.
We'd have to look at that and see how that would work. That could be a cool idea. But we've never done a live stream. So
we've talked about it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Part of my hesitation with doing that is I watch it with my family. I watch it with my wife. And so that would be a little strange. And selfishly, getting my kids down to bed is like right in the middle of the episode. So I tend to watch it a little bit later and fast forward through commercials. But I'm totally down to switch that up for the finale. And maybe it's not this season, but one of the seasons coming up, I would definitely like to do something like that, because we've talked about that a couple times. So if we can make it work, I'm down to try it.
Yeah, it could be a cool idea. Something different.
Something to keep on our radar and all, for sure.
Well, we appreciate you listening, and thanks for the support, even though you're my sister and probably feel like you have to. That's all I got for emails. Again, email us at themergefeastpodcast@gmail.com and be featured on the show just like Samantha or Lauren was tonight.
Thank you guys for sending those in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit more about the potential for next week and just some hypotheticals as far as where we think this episode is going to end up, or where the season is going to end up, because it feels to me like next week is really the last shot to mix things up, unless somebody wins immunity that we're not expecting, right? That would be the only thing that could really switch things up. So I'll just throw a couple hypotheticals out there and give me your guys' thoughts on what would happen. So we have Kyle, Kamilla, Mitch, Joe, Eva, and Shauhin next week. What happens if Mitch wins immunity?
Dang.
Kamilla goes home.
Yeah, it would just flip to Kamilla. But that would be interesting because it puts Kyle in a tough spot.
It does.
But I think that's the opportunity to get Shauhin.
To bring Shauhin in or to get Shauhin out?
To bring Shauhin in. Say, hey, Kyle, there's going to be a point where Kyle and Kamilla are going to need to come clean about their relationship. And I feel like that, regardless of Mitch winning or not, I think next week is the time for that. And even with Shauhin even talking about potentially writing Joe's name down due to his paranoia, like, he's open to it. Mm-hmm. Hey, Shauhin, we got to be real with you. Kyle, me and Kamilla have been working together this entire time. We've just been trying to keep it under the radar to survive. Hope you can understand. But listen, we have a great opportunity here to get Joe out, and I don't know if there's going to be another chance to do it. Are you in or are you out? Shauhin seems like a reasonable guy.
I think what you said earlier. I think what you said earlier is spot on, because at that point you have to bet on yourself, and whether you're Shauhin or you're Kyle. I mean, Kyle's in this pivotal moment of like, I could be in top 4 or I could be in top 4, and at this point I've got to bet on who I could win against in an immunity challenge. Like, that's his only hope at this point on making it past top 4, in my opinion, is can he win immunity at the right time? Or align himself with somebody who is going to take him to the final 3. And I just don't know that if Joe wins, let's say it's Joe, Eva, Shauhin, and Kyle in the final 4, and Joe wins immunity, like, Kyle's making fire. He's taking Eva.
Yeah, Kyle and Shauhin are making fire.
Right?
100%.
And so it's like, okay, if I'm Kyle, I'm thinking I've either got to beat Joe, Eva, and Shauhin in an immunity challenge, or I have to be willing to bet on myself to make fire and make it to the end and then speak to my gameplay. But at that point, I'm basically saying I'm not with Kamilla at all because I'm not willing to flip. By him not willing to flip on Joe and Eva and Shauhin, that's saying that he's not with Kamilla. And that he's in that weird moment, that this quintessential moment of he's got to decide on, like, he may not make it to final 3 at all. So if he makes it to top 4, regardless of who he's with, he's got to decide, who
he's definitely got to
make.
I
want to go with.
Where does my loyalty lie? Yeah.
Yeah. He's got to make a decision. You can't be sitting in the middle, especially this late in the game. And we've said, these last few weeks, as pivotal as they are to the outcome of the game with making big moves and those last few things there, you got to make a choice. You got to commit one way or the other.
And the quote that comes to mind, or the phrase that comes to mind to me with Kyle, is paralysis by analysis. At this point, he is analyzing so many things so much that he doesn't want to make the wrong decision, so he's not going to make any decision. And Kamilla is the one making the moves or laying the groundwork for things. And not that Kyle's not playing, but it's like, I'm at this weird point in the game and I don't know what to do. Here, Kamilla, I'm relying on you. If you can make this happen, maybe I'll jump ship. If not, I don't know that I'm willing to. Like, I'm just gonna sit here and not do anything.
It's almost like
that's not going to do him any favors whatsoever.
Yeah, it's almost like he clearly doesn't want to vote Joe out. But if Joe wasn't there, yeah, absolutely, he'd be with with Kamilla, 100%. So, like you said I think it was last week or the week before, like, hey, if you can get him out, you go ahead. I'm not gonna intervene anything. Like, that showed me there is he wants to go with Kamilla, but he doesn't want to be the person that has to vote Joe out.
And I think that speaks to Joe's social gameplay, because Kyle has said numerous times where, man, I've shared stuff with these people that goes beyond the game. And that's what's so interesting to me about Survivor is you have, from our side, it's like, it's just a game. but we are not the ones sitting there building these relationships and making good friends with people. And it's easy to sit there on the couch or in bed and say, it's just a game, like cut somebody loose.
But it is just a game.
I mean, it is 100%.
You have to be able to step back away from that and understand that as a player. Like you're trying to win $1 million and make life-changing money for your family and for generations.
And that's where
you can't.
That's where
you can't vote somebody out. It's going to hurt for a second, but what it could potentially mean for you and your family, like you're putting your loyalty to Joe over your family.
That's where the great players, or the good players and the great players, separate for me, because Kyle is a good player. I don't think he's a great player because he can't separate those things yet. He may still, like there's still a chance for him, but that's what separates the good from the great, in my opinion.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Couple other hypotheticals. Let's say they do make the flip. Kyle makes the flip, Shauhin flips, or they go to rocks, flush out the idol. Something happens to where Joe goes home. So final 5 are Eva, Shauhin, Mitch, Kamilla, and Kyle. Who wins at that point?
Eva's on the bottom and is probably next boot.
I think it'd either be Kyle or Kamilla.
Actually, I think Kamilla or Eva's guaranteed herself Final 4, hasn't she?
Pretty much, because she has the idol, unless she were to flush it out or like get flushed.
So
my thought is Shauhin is sitting in maybe the best position in the game.
I think Shauhin might have some trouble speaking to what he's done in the game.
He seems fairly confident in it, though, it seems like.
I mean, it's sure, but he's just kind of done what everyone has said, hey, we're doing this. And he's like, yeah, he's had as many opportunities to make a big splash too. Like if you want to look at resumes, what has he done better than Joe? What has he done better than Kyle? What has he done better than Kamilla? Like Kyle and Kamilla can say that they played the California Girls Alliance. They can say that they broke up the Honesty Integrity Alliance. Like they have more substance to their game than Shauhin does, and I love Shauhin. I think he's been super entertaining. I think he's a good player, and but to say he's a front runner, I don't know. I think you could put Kyle and Kamilla, but then you get to the point where there's no great players in this game. Maybe that's what we're uncovering right now, is that there's no great players. There's no legendary elite level survivor players that are like, you deserve to play again.
A lot of really good players, no great elite players. Yeah, it's valid.
I could see that. Yeah.
Because it would be Kyle or Kamilla as the front runner for me. Like,
so let's take that a step further. Kyle, Kamilla, and Shauhin in the final 3. If Shauhin flips this next week, and him, Kyle, and Kamilla get to the end, do you think Shauhin has a shot?
So weirdly enough, I actually don't, and I think I would have to understand where Joe and Eva's head is at, as far as, are they bitter that Shauhin potentially flipped, what their kind of perception is of that move, because they've been, we're together, we trust each other, we're not going to flip each other, we're going to go to the end, and that could be a detriment to him. I look at Kyle and Kamilla. Let me just pull up the jury real quick. You look at the roots. So does David have any interest in the Honesty Integrity Alliance? They took him out first. Kyle and Kamilla, their roots go back to Chrissy with Siva. Cedric, he was on Siva for a little bit. Cedric doesn't really have ties to anybody. Mary, like, she was on the bottom. She doesn't have any reason to vote for Shauhin or any of those people.
Would Shauhin's social gameplay stand out above Kyle and Kamilla, though? Because I feel like he's built more connections with everyone more than Kyle and Kamilla have.
Probably.
Yeah, I think it would.
But it's also hard because I feel like Camilla's been a little under-edited, so I don't really know what her social game is. Kyle's been right in the middle. He's been cool with everybody. So I think Kyle could have a great pitch as far as his social game.
I think, to me, that would be the most interesting final three.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I think strategy would be the biggest, like, what did you do to actually get here strategy-wise? That would be the big question. But yeah, I agree with you. That's probably the most interesting.
And honestly, it's a lot of that comes down to how the next couple of votes play out, how people get voted out, who flips, how bitter are the people that get voted out. Like, a lot of it comes down to that. But strategically, that would be the most interesting to me, for sure. This season is so perplexing to me because I really like a lot of the players. It's been a fun, just different season. In a good way, it's different gameplay than we've seen for a long, long time. But I'm just left wanting something more.
Yeah, it has remnants of season 45. And I think I've said this in a previous episode where it's like, guys, your opportunity is right there and you're just not doing it. You're not taking it. And that's what's happening. And that's what's so frustrating this season is the people that are not in the majority are not coming together and doing what they need to do to further their game.
Yeah. I mean, Jake from season 45, where he was like trying to make a move. I'm like, I just want to do something. I want to make this move. And he ends up getting third and with no votes. Mm-hmm. And it's like,
yeah, because he couldn't get Bruce and Co. to do anything.
Yeah,
Uncle Bruce.
And he wanted to. He tried to make these moves, and nobody would do it. So I get it, but it's like, man, I don't know. You're spot on. Season 45 is like with Jake specifically is exactly what's happening this season.
And I don't think it helps coming off of such a great previous season, coming into this one and it being not an awful season or anything like that, but just being kind of lackluster.
Season 47 blows this season out of the water.
It just
strategically 100%. Socially, this game, like this season, is like hands down like the alliances and the social gameplay out of this world, but strategically left lacking.
Yeah, I would say that season 47 is, in Joe's words, got fun betrayal. Come on, guys.
47, yeah. Yep.
I missed that one.
Yeah, because did you not watch the challenge?
I did.
Come on, guys.
I must have missed that one. I'm sorry.
You didn't see Joe say, "I'm done," and he spelled a word that was not a word?
Oh, yes.
Come on.
What did he spell?
Got fun betrayal.
Got fun betrayal.
And he was like, got fun betrayal. Say it. Like, Joe, come on now. Like,
yeah.
So disappointing, you guys.
Have we seen that type of a challenge before? I mean, we've seen like the spelling of the word and then in that arch, but I don't remember like carrying the pot over the balance beam.
No,
it was kind of a cool little twist, not twist, but like change to the challenge. I thought it was fun.
I was gonna say I don't think we haven't seen it with a wheelbarrow or whatever like that they had, but I feel like we've seen something similar. Not a wheelbarrow, but you know what I mean.
I held my tongue.
More
but
like
something
dollar,
similar where they've had to like balance a ball on
is it
something.
even wheelbarrow? Are you even saying a real word?
Wheelbarrow?
Wheelbarrow?
Milk.
Wheelbarrow. I don't know where this barrel is you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. I know you don't. Didn't get my unforgettable joke earlier. Don't know what a wheelbarrow is. Now you got me saying it wrong.
I think you're saying it wrong from the beginning.
Wheelbarrow.
That's what I said, wheelbarrow.
Hey,
Wheelbarrow.
roll it back. Not the wheelbarrow. The tape.
Can we talk about David for a minute?
Yes.
The best part of the episode. Standing when Mary got voted out at attention almost.
I mean, he's got his little tank top on and seemed just super serious.
Look. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a
then
post
when
on
he stood, I was so confused because especially after everything came out afterwards when he was like, Mary kind of latched on to me. I didn't really have a choice. It didn't really seem like that as soon as he stood up, as soon as she was voted out. I was like, wait, huh? I've never seen anything like that. I was so confused.
Weird.
Like, hold on, what?
I was with Star on that one. Just sitting behind him laughing like, what is going on?
Yeah.
so strange.
And that may be the interesting part of this season, right? Is where the jury stands with everybody. And I'll be curious to see if the jury appreciates the tight alliance and, hey, we just rode together to the end. Yes, we had this final 6. Yes, we had this final 4. Yes, we had this final 2. Like, we had these alliances within alliances. Is the jury going to appreciate that gameplay, or are they going to say, come on, guys, like, you just rode to the end because you built these alliances, but you didn't do anything? And I don't know. It's my favorite thing about Survivor is, like, you can play the game so differently, and the jury see it completely opposite from one season to the next, and you can play the most brilliant game ever and the jury be super bitter because you betrayed all of them and they don't give it to you. I mean, we've seen that time and time again where the best player doesn't necessarily win. I don't know. That's again part of why I love this game so much. So it is not just a straightforward who's the best player, and like who's playing the best game, like on the surface level. You've got to dig a little deeper, and it's not just your strategic gameplay of the people that are still in the game, but now who you're voting out because they're going to vote for you or against you.
Have you ever done sushi for a reward?
Sushi?
I don't think they have that I know of.
Yeah, that was the first time I'd seen that. That's all. What's next?
I don't know why that made me think of Logan. You sent me a video. Who was it on one of the previous seasons that said she ate like 75 hermit crabs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who was that? They were talking about when you go number 2 in the bathroom, like, what are your options? And she's like, well, I went twice in the whole game. First time was like a couple days in after I had already eaten, and you can either like dig a hole or go in the ocean. And I forget what she called it, but like, and then she said that the second time was after she had eaten like 75 hermit crabs and just had like massive diarrhea.
Oh,
yeah.
Because you're not supposed to eat that many like bottom feeders.
Was that a Kelly Wentworth thing?
No, it was in the modern era, I thought.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I've seen her do some like behind the scenes Survivor stuff. I know she was talking about using the bathroom. 75 hermit crabs is wild.
I think you sent it to me on Instagram, Logan. I'm going to look.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
It was Anika.
Oh, Annika?
Yeah, Annika. That's
from
right.
last season.
Was it last season?
Yeah, she was on last season.
Yeah.
75 hermit crabs.
Like, holy moly.
Yeah.
And then what was funny is she was voted out 5th. Like, you ate 75 hermit crabs. You were voted out 5th. Like, holy moly.
Jeez.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's. I didn't know you could eat hermit crabs.
You gotta just take the shell off. Didn't you have hermit crabs as a pet growing up, Logan?
I did.
I know you had gerbils.
Gerbils, frogs, hermit crabs.
It's true.
Lots of gerbils.
A couple.
A few. You're welcome.
Several.
Jelinski. Oh, man.
Survivor of the week?
What? Let's get this out of here.
Oh, man.
Blake, kick us off.
Before we get there, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about. Eva going on the journey.
Okay.
One, kind of a letdown that she was the one that went because she has all the advantages right now. And it was left up to chance, whatever. Like, it wasn't like they chose her or
Some
she.
say it wasn't.
Who said that wasn't?
Some say it's fixed.
Yeah. But I thought it was smart of her to not go for this advantage, knowing that it was knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Like, why would she? She has the advantages. Like, there was no point. So that, I don't know. I wish that somebody else would have gotten that and would have gone for it and potentially gotten it, and that could have switched up the game a little bit. I don't know.
I'm going to be honest with you. Other than her coming back to the island and like telling the truth as to what happened, they 100% could have gotten away with just cutting that journey out. Like, this journey was a nothing burger, didn't impact anything other than here's another opportunity for Eva to tell the truth.
Yeah. It's those moments, though, that tell me that Survivor is not fixed, because if they wanted to make the show better for the viewer, they would have totally set that up for Kyle or Kamilla to get that, and or to at least have the opportunity to get that, or like to go on the journey to like compete for that advantage. But that just tells me that Survivor is not fixed and that it is just random chance. So I don't know.
I did notice one thing, and I don't know if maybe I was just reading into it too much, but in the instructions for the challenge for Eva, it stated that she needed to build 4 layers to keep her vote, and then she go up to 8 layers to get the extra, or whatever the extra one was. And in that it said you have until your timer is done to get 4 levels and you get your vote. But at any point, if it falls, if your timer is done, then you lose out on, like, you lose your vote. She got the 4 levels, and then it cuts to her like leaving, and she knocked all of those over. Like, she knocked them off the table, and the timer still had some sand left in it. So
You're reading too much into it.
I know I was, but I was like,
I saw that, and I think 2 things. First, I think she declared that she was done. She wasn't actively doing it. But 2, I'm fairly confident that production told her to knock it over as she was walking past it.
that probably makes sense.
So all that being said, Survivor of the Week, I mean, I feel like I would just be picking somebody. I don't know that anybody really stood out as far as gameplay.
I got one.
I got one. Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay.
I'm going Kamilla.
That's where I was going to land too.
Winning immunity.
Yeah.
It was a big week for her for just winning immunity.
Yeah.
I don't think that changed where she landed this week. Didn't change the outcome of the game at all. That's where it's like it's hard to say who the standout player was, but I mean it has to be that was really the only standout moment was her winning. Were you surprised that she took Eva on the reward?
Yes and
Why
no.
wouldn't you have taken Mitch or Shauhin and tried to like say, hey, here's what I'm thinking. Like, why take Eva? I was so confused by that.
I know she said something along the lines of trying to keep them feeling comfortable and saying, hey, we're good. It's still Mary. There's no there's no talks of anything happening. She brought one of them on the reward challenge. So if she would have brought Shauhin and Kyle, oh my gosh, what are they talking about? Are they coming after me? Putting doubts out there. So just trying to make them as comfortable as possible. Having Eva there. Eva's clearly going to report back to Joe saying this is what we talked about, and it wasn't gameplay or whatever the case may be. So just keeping them comfortable in the hopes and chance that they were able to blindside them.
Yeah, I'm so glad they kept Eva comfortable just to turn around and vote out Mary anyway.
Yeah.
Great job. But yeah, I was surprised by it until Kamilla explained it.
And I mean, I've got to give it to Kamilla. Her strategic gameplay has been on point. It just doesn't seem like anybody has gone along with her. Even her number one is not willing to make the move just yet. But Kamilla is definitely the most strategic game player in the game. Like, hands down, without question for me. So, yeah. All in agreement, Kamilla?
Yep.
Kamilla.
Yep. Follow our socials. Instagram, TikTok, Threads at the Merge Feast, Twitter, Merge Feast Pod, and we are now on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. Just look up the Merge Feast, look for our logo, follow our page. We'll be updating and putting content on that every day as well. So if you're a Facebook person and you don't want to get on any of the other platforms, you have a way to check out what we're doing there as well.
Thank you, Lauren and Samantha, for the emails this week. I'm definitely curious to see where you guys think the rest of the season is going to end up, who you think, Final Four, Final Three is going to be. Hopefully we get a mix-up next week. So make sure you email us if you want to be featured on the podcast. And again, thank you both for the very kind words, and thank you for tuning in. So I don't have anything else. So if you guys don't have anything, go ahead and say goodbye, Logan.
Goodbye, Logan.